As an MC, one of the things I've learned over the years, day one, typically everybody behaves really well. They're back on time, they sit in their seats, they're nice and quiet when you ask them to. Day two, it's like herding cats. Because everybody's familiar with each other, they get a little bit more friendly, and they feel good. Day three is like herding wet cats, getting everybody back into the room and stuff. So I appreciate you guys being here for the final two sessions of today. Our next speaker is going to be taking a little bit of a different tack. You've been hearing strategies on what to do when it comes to marketing. But what you also need to hear is what mistakes could be costly to you. Our next speaker is going to share with you 10 costly mistakes that you can avoid. Please put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Mr. Eric Morgan.
All right. Good afternoon. How are y'all doing? All right. I'm Eric Morgan. I'm with Roux Advertising, based in New Orleans, and I'm excited to be here in Denver. I know that PILMMA was in New Orleans, and we were happy to have it there, and we had a lot of fun there. But getting out of New Orleans, especially because it's in April, starting to get a little bit warm. The weather here is very exciting, so it's a nice treat. What I want to talk about for the next 30 plus or so minutes with some time for Q&A is the 10 marketing F-ups that you should avoid at any cost. And I put this list together from kind of firsthand experience of working with clients over 30 years. And just a disclaimer, these are common things. Everybody has done one, two, some of them at any given moment. And it's not just the legal marketing industry, because we do work in a couple of other verticals. And so it's just things that we've experienced, we've seen clients do that just get in the way. They're costly, they're time consuming, they're the kind of things that make you bang your head on the table, and they're very disruptive, and they prevent brands from succeeding and growing, whether that's on a bigger picture level or that's more on a campaign by campaign level. So pretty straightforward. They are in no order. They are just randomly thrown together. They are mostly marketing related. You'll see one or two operational items there, but the operational items actually feed into marketing in one way, shape, or form. So I'm going to go through them, and I'm going to give a little bit of examples. I'm going to explain why and how to overcome them. And then I've got plenty of time for Q&A. Number one, just kind of jumping into it, lack of tracking and measurement. Obviously, analytics is a huge topic these days. A couple of conversations today and yesterday have touched on it. And the reality is that information is gold, literally. There are tech companies out there that don't turn a profit except for the fact that they've got consumer data. And this information that I'm talking about really is the information that y'all use from a marketing standpoint. We use, obviously, from a marketing standpoint, from a campaign standpoint, about setting up the data, accessing it, and using it to generate information, observations that ultimately drive campaign recommendations. Now, there's only 6 logos up here. Standard logos, you probably are all familiar with some of these logos. This logo slide could have hundreds. You'll all have some sort of software stack. You'll use 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a bunch of them. And the reality is, it's a pain in the butt to get these on board and synced and providing you with the data and information. Fortunately, some of these companies provide tech support and will help get it up and running. Unfortunately, some of these systems are kind of a do-it-yourself, Google Analytics and so forth, and we've run across clients that have issues getting access to their own data. Somebody sets it up, writes a password down on a Post-it note, that person leaves, they lose the Post-it note. You can't get your data. What I'm saying is make sure one person, at a minimum, more than one, for redundancy's sake, knows how to get your data, knows how to read it, knows how to pull it, knows how to interpret it, knows how to convert it, knows how to manipulate it, so you can use it. Now, the goal is to use it to understand how people are getting to your front door. We call them gateways. How did people get to the firm? Whether it's this device or that device. What you want to be able to do is run campaigns that say, I have goals, I achieved it from a performance standpoint, I use the data to be able to tell me whether I achieved it or not. And that performance column would have red, green, or yellow dots to say, good, I hit my goals, or I didn't hit my goals. And then when the second half of your campaign, or you do your next campaign, you can then move that goal, move it further down the road and push yourself. But without the right kind of data, you don't have the ability to say, hey, we ran a campaign, it was the same investment, so we acquired the same number of users and the same number of sessions, but we improved engagement. We improved the time on session. Right? You want to be able to use information to be able to say what worked, what didn't work, and the problem is data is complicated, software systems are complicated, and it's one of those things that I suggest you find somebody in your office who has the brain, the foresight, the understanding of it, make them own it and have a redundancy person, because if not, you will get tripped up on it. It's a big mess, but it's something that can overcome, but I've seen it trip up a lot of law firms. 2, diluting advertising budget. All right? There is an enormous amount of advertising options out there. And one of the biggest things we have every week, a call that says, where should we put our money, okay? What tactics? Bus, transit, local search ads, streaming, TV, broadcast, outdoor, you name it, okay? It's a big challenge. It's a legitimate conversation, and we enjoy having it. But the reality is often too many times, people try to do everything, right? And they dilute their budget. So what we go through this exercise, and y'all can do this super easily internally, but to say, look, the reality is in any given market, and there's 210 markets in the United States, 210 TV markets, okay, New York being the biggest one, and I forget who's the smallest. But there's a specific number of people, but in reality, the people that are going to need your services today or tomorrow, there's a very defined group of people, okay? So you might not want to consider trying to reach everybody in the market, but instead zoom in on a very specific group of people and say, that's my core. That's who I want to talk to. And then when you start looking at media channels and investing your budget, make sure that you're looking at it and saying, am I reaching the appropriate number of people? Am I devoting enough money to the right amount of eyeballs? In this case, impression share, okay? All the tools out there, all the platforms will tell you how much you're reaching. And if you don't put enough money towards it, Facebook tells you. How much are you reaching if you're spending $100 a day, $200 a day, $5,000 a month? It tells you, is that enough reach for the group of people you're trying to communicate with? And that's a big thing because everybody wants to do everything. Everybody sees their competitor doing X, Y, and Z. They feel like they should do X, Y, and Z. And before you know it, your very precious, hard-earned money is diluted. And so you can go through each media tactic and say, if I'm buying radio, and I know a lot of people aren't on radio, but we have a couple of clients that do want to buy radio. And we need to make sure that they are going deep enough with stations. And it's the same conversation for TV to say, what share of the audience am I buying? You only buy that first station, you are only reaching 10.5% of the audience. Is that enough? Maybe. If it fits your strategy, it could be enough. Do you need to go deeper? Well, diminishing returns. The deeper you go, the less reach you get. These are things that you need to take into consideration when you're talking about how to allocate your budget. Next thing, people don't test media channels enough or creative enough. Some of you all have heard me speak. I'm a media guy. I grew up in the ad agency world as a media planner buyer. I'll be the first one to say creative is incredibly important. So make sure you're testing these things. I had a prospective client tell me, we've been running the same ad for 2 years. No one called us about changing creative. 2 years. Now, if that was working for them, fine, run it. But even if it's working, I still say that's a lost opportunity. You should have been tweaking that creative, because if it was fine, it could have been better than fine if you tweak the creative. Change it out often. Create a production budget that allows you to test new creative. The more you learn, remember that little thing watching Sunday cartoons? The more you learn, the more you grow. Pretty straightforward. We see that when we change creative, right, we see qualified leads go up. We see conversion rate change. This is one client. We swapped out creative for them. We see a reduction in the cost per case from television campaigns. It just works. It's pretty straightforward. From a media standpoint, test the media channels. Because if you start with the media mix on the left and you've got 4 channels, okay, and it's working, great. Adjust it, try something new. Always be testing, always be improving, because the second half of the campaign, whether that's the second half of the year, second half of the quarter, or whatever it may be, you might want to add something new, and now you've got 5 media channels. Some of y'all might have a budget where you start with 2. 1, you add, you constantly grow, constantly test, constantly learn. I do want to bring this up. When you're testing media channels, be sure you understand why you're testing it, the value it brings to your marketing strategy, and what you get out of it. Everything we do, we look at it and say, this is what we predict we're going to get out of it. Okay? People jump on outdoor. Great. What do you expect to get out of it? You're going to invest in 8 billboards in your market? What do you expect? Okay? OTT streaming is very hot these days. Rightfully so. We do a fair amount of it. But OTT has a role. It plays a purpose in a marketing strategy. And too often people are going, oh man, it's broadcast TV, but different. It's different. It serves a role, and the return is different. The cost is different pound for pound. Yes, you can customize it. Yes, you can target and do all that fun stuff that the digital world lets us do. But if you're looking pound for pound, it is not apples to apples, all right? It has value. Just know when you're testing these things what the role is. Failing to get your house in order. I'm going to show you a couple of slides. I really Googled it. I took the screen grab and I threw it in this presentation a couple of weeks ago when I had to deliver this. Nothing, I have no investment into a law firm. We don't work with them. It's just somebody that I needed a representation. Get your house in order. This is easy and this is free. And we see it often. You see it often with all kinds of brands, regardless of the industry. Make sure Google My Business, Google Business Profile is up to date. It's super easy and it's free to do, okay? A lot of you all have multiple locations. A lot of you all have fresh content. A lot of you all have pictures and images. A lot of you all can be uploading or getting people to do reviews. That's super simple. Go through your social media profiles. Odds are you haven't touched those about us and who y'all are and what y'all do in a very long time. Make sure that they're on point. Not understanding your firm's position. I'm a big believer in branding. And I know, and I've had the conversation with some law firms that say, I don't care about brand, I just want my phone to ring. How do you think your phone rings? Brand has a huge part in it. And in such a competitive industry as legal marketing, brand absolutely matters. Being distinctive, understanding something. Understanding or standing for something, all right? Figure it out, all right? You have to have a position. You have to have a brand that is unique and distinctive, right? It could be as simple as just going through a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Understanding what your firm is about, understanding what your strengths are, what the opportunities are in your marketplace. And from there, you can then say, hey, this is who we are. This is why we're distinctive. This is what matters to us. And this is why it should matter to a very specific group of people. And then you start understanding who you need to be talking to. Because if you can get this stuff right, and it's easy, I promise you, so many other things start falling into place from a marketing standpoint, okay? If you know what you stand for, all of a sudden you know who that matters to. You know what you stand for, all of a sudden you know what your creative copy is going to be. You know what your message is going to be. You know what you're going to say, TV commercials, billboards, social media. If you know what you're going to, what you stand for, you understand how your intake team needs to interact with people. You understand now how your clients interact with your client, your attorneys interact with your clients. What your welcome kit should be, what your thank you kit should be. It drives so much information. It's so directive. It's mind-boggling. Okay? Without it, you become inconsistent. The brand becomes inconsistent. Zigzags. That's when those thoughts in the middle of the night pop into your head and you run in the office and go, let's do this. Might not be on point, might not be on your brand, okay? Having a firm brand where everybody speaks it in the firm, everybody knows it, everybody on the street knows it, is powerful. And it lets you figure out where you stand in the marketplace and how you can own one spot that is just for you, okay? You stand alone and you're distinctive and you don't look like anybody else, okay? You want to claim that space. Number 6, failing to establish a strategy kind of in line with the position is that, you know, you understand your brand and your brand position and the promise and differentiation. You now want to start looking at, you know, who your clients are, what the client value is, the acquisition, what your cost per acquisition is going to be. Because as I listened to some of the sessions today and more so yesterday, I heard things like scaling up burn harnish, okay? There's EOS out there. I didn't hear it, but I know EOS is out there as well. And these are internal growth programs. I'm familiar with scaling up. Everybody's going to have a 1-year, 3-year, 5-year goal or something like that. And it's you want to make more money. You want to grow. You want to accomplish something, okay? Let me be clear. Strategy is not, let's spend more money on Facebook. Nothing against Facebook. Strategy is not, I'm doing more billboards next quarter. That is not a strategy. That is a tactical execution that hopes to fulfill the strategy, okay? Just stop right there if you're walking around saying, oh, our strategy for next quarter is to buy more billboard. Wrong. It's just not that. And I think you're doing yourself a disservice. Strategy is going, I have these goals, whatever these 1-year, 3-year, 5-year goals is, and I'm going to break it down and figure out what it means to me and why it's important to go to market. What am I going to do to go to market? It's this marketing priority. My strategy is going to be, I'm going to grow organic reach because I want to become less dependent on paid media. Okay. Great. You now know what success looks like to achieve 1-year, 3-year, 5-year goals. Okay? Coming up with a strategy is then breaking that I want to grow my organic reach into smaller initiatives, okay? Where you can then say, these are the things that I'm going to do from a marketing standpoint that's going to help me fulfill and reach that 1-year, 3-year, 5-year goal. Okay? What happens often is that people don't set their sights on what the 1-year goal is. They wake up and they go, well, we need to run a TV campaign. I say no. I say go through quarterly planning, if not more often. Definitely check on your quarterly planning every couple of weeks and once a month and say, how do we break this thing down? Okay? Yeah, you can run out and do a TV campaign, but it's not going to be on brand. It's not going to be following your goals and what you're trying to accomplish if it doesn't align with this. But if your goal is, hey, I want to grow social media following by 15% to 1,500, perfect. That's part of my strategy, and that's how I'm going to win and achieve my strategy. You assign it, y'all remember, SMART goals, specific, measurable, accountable, relevant and time-bound, you assign it to somebody. You give deadlines. And then all of a sudden, this subtask is, I'm going to grow a follower. I'm going to create a grow follower strategy. I'm going to develop content strategy for that grow a follower, because remember, I want to grow my organic reach. And then I'm going to audience size and do budgets to grow reach. The goal is trying to figure out how to align your marketing strategy with your business strategy, because going back a slide or two, your business strategy is, I want to grow and make more money. That's business. Convert it, translate it into marketing strategy. And then assign it individual initiatives and assign those to people. But that's not often getting done. And what happens is weeks go by, y'all walk into a marketing meeting, it's like, what have we accomplished? I don't know. Look, we're guilty of this for our own operations. And everybody's guilty of it. What did we accomplish? Nothing. Okay. Why not? Well, nobody got assigned something. Nobody's accountable. It's a big operational weakness, but it ladders up to marketing. Without it, you lose the ability to track performance. You lose the ability to say, are we meeting our quarterly goals, or are we on pace to do our quarterly goals? Ultimately, you just end up chasing competitors. And that's a terrible thing to do. You never win if you're chasing somebody. Ignoring the firm's role in the community. Y'all went to law school to help people. Okay? Get people's lives back on track, to fight for them, provide legal representation. And I hope that that desire to help people is extended well outside of your office and well outside of the courtroom and rolls into the community. Because the reality is that the community has needs, and you all should be going, hey, what are those needs? As a law firm, as a good corporate citizen, what are we doing? How are we supporting them? And how are we interacting with them? There are an enormous amount of organizations out there that have the exact same goal as you all. They are trying to help people. They are trying to support people. They are trying to make people's lives better. And in some cases, ARNO is they're trying to help pets be a little better. If you did your position correctly, you know what you stand for. Go find an organization that aligns with what you stand for. Because then it becomes real interesting and real fun. And it means 10 times more to you. Okay? But the reality is, and again, I'm a paid media guy, all right? I'm the first to say get involved, because these organizations need help. The community needs help. And if you're really true to that, this is where this is valuable, okay? These organizations are hungry for your support. And the support could be simple. The support could be, unfortunately, writing a check sometimes. But they will provide you a platform and an opportunity to go shake hands and meet people and convey what you want to convey from, hey, here's how we live in the community, here's the role we play, here's how we can help and make your life better. Not just in the legal sense, but also in the community sense. So these just happen to be New Orleans based. I'm New Orleans, so pulled a few that I know of. But it's powerful. I mean, you're trying to get in front of people, and marketing, paid ads, is only going to get you so far. This is putting an investment into the community. This is becoming a great corporate citizen. We have a client, Morris Bart, down in New Orleans, Gulf Coast. He's a big music fan. So New Orleans right now is in the middle of Jazz Fest. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday last week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week. 8 days of great music, Jazz Fest. He said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sponsor the gospel tent. There's a bunch of different tents in stages. He sponsors the gospel tent, okay? Gets his logo, and I will tell you, every day for those 8 days, about 75,000 people walk through the gate. If you have bigger bands, it can be close to 100,000. And most of them walk through the front gate, which is right in front of the gospel tent. So he gets 600,000 people that walk through and see his logo. It's one of the first logos they see. Okay? In addition to that, he gets to go up on stage and introduce any of the acts in the gospel tent that he wants for 8 days. And I went and listened to one Friday because that was our out-of-office event that we do. And some of those kids that are in, or the high school choir and all, and the gospel singers are amazing. And they pack that tent, and that tent holds hundreds of people. And it's just one of many ways that he is aligning with an organization that's close to him because he loves New Orleans and jazz, and obviously there's a huge connection there, and he's all in. And there's a total, in addition to that, there's a total, a laundry list of benefits that he gets. Get involved. Start small, move up. All right. Failing to build the right team. Yesterday, I listened to one of the afternoon sessions, and they did hey, raise your hand based on your head count, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 on up. And so everybody's raising their hands. And first off, it looked like it was a pretty diverse group of head count in the firms. So great for you all, because that's an amazing amount of learning that y'all can all share from. But the reality is that regardless of how big you are, at some point, everybody's worn all the hats. At some point, y'all were small, and you wore every hat, and then all of a sudden, you're growing, and you need to figure out what your team is. Who's going to be on your team, whether it's tomorrow or next year. We have a client at one point said, I shoot my own videos. I say, stop doing that, and instead, go through your own SWOT analysis, figure out what your skills are, what your strengths and weaknesses. Because that lawyer, that law firm owner shouldn't have been shooting their own video. Somebody else should be. So I'm saying, there are certain skills that you all have. Figure out what your team needs to look like. You might not build it now, but definitely start building it. Everybody, or mapping it out at least. Everybody has strengths. I have strengths, okay? I have skills. And then for the things that I don't have skills for, people in my office tell me to get out the way or stop doing it or put it down and walk away, right? That needs to be a common practice internally for you all. Because if somebody's out there and they're shooting their own video and they shouldn't be, figure out what that org chart needs to look like. Start building it as quickly as you can. You might already have the people on your team, you just have not discovered what their skill sets are. I am going to say, back to scaling up, Vern Harnish was mentioned yesterday in an afternoon session. One thing you can do, we do it internally, is create a scorecard. If you don't know where to start on building a team, build a scorecard, okay? On this document, if you can put the document back up on the screen, on this document, it's pretty straightforward. This is designed for the role, not for the person. This is designed to say, what does an A player look like on the team that I need to build? Pretty standard stuff, education, experience, track record, fine. Key technical competencies. This is the document that you use to interview people. We use this to interview people, okay? We use this for one-on-ones and quarterly reviews. That says, these are the key technical competencies that I need somebody to have. If I'm hiring for paid search person to have in-house, do they have skills at bid strategy? Do they have skills at writing ads? Do they have skills at Google Ad Manager? These are the key technical skills that they must have to be an A player on the team. I also have measurable accountabilities. This is, if any of y'all are doing scaling up, you're familiar with this. It's in the book, Vern Harnish. Measurable accountabilities. These are the actual KPIs. When you have somebody on your team that says, how am I doing? It's this. And that second column, metrics KPI, are hard numbers. 100% perfection. Documents are error-free. Campaigns approve year over year. Cost per client acquisition reduces 5% every year. whatever the metric is, okay? Build your team, build one of these things so that way you know who it is that needs to fit in that role. Number 9, not learning from your clients. A big, big mistake. It was mentioned about 2 hours ago on this stage on the panel. Okay? Y'all have amazing offices. Some of y'all have multiple offices in multiple cities. Y'all have great intake teams that y'all invest a lot in. Intake was talked about a lot on that panel. I think it was Sean Malloy that talked about his intake. Okay? You have chat. You have all this information to learn from your client. And I'm going to ditto what they said earlier. Learn from them, okay? Understand who they are. Back to the information is gold. Your information, marketing information, is powerful. It can drive what you want to get. You're interacting with these clients because of what's required, okay? You have a responsibility to get information to help with the case. But there's this, what's desired. You need to learn about them. You need to learn, why did they call your firm? What was the trigger? Okay? The more you know about them, and the comment earlier today was, go meet with your client. And I know some of y'all have grown to the point where y'all might not practice law, maybe second chair every now and then, what have you. Go meet with them. Learn from them, because that is tomorrow's concept for a campaign. Who walked through the door? What's their hot buttons? Why? What do they need? And it's not just, I was in an accident, I was hurt. What's going through their head? What's going through their life? What kind of lifestyle do they have? What kind of lifestyle do they want? What's their aspirations? Okay? They have desires, and you're going to be there to help them with those. I hate to say it, marketing is about behavior modification and changing. You want to take that information so that way you can create campaigns, future campaigns, and drive more clients just like them. So you got to learn from the current clients. Make sure you're absorbing as much as you can. Number 10, finally, allowing leakage in your client base. It's a big issue, okay? You have clients in those beautiful offices. Your intake team works with them. Your attorneys work with them. The hardest thing you will ever do is get a new client. The easiest thing you can ever do is keep the new client. In the retail world, have y'all ever heard of customer lifetime value? It is the total revenue a brand will earn off of the relationship that they have with a client over that client's life. Lifetime value, not one-time value, lifetime value. Make sure when they come through the door, because it's a competitive industry and y'all are putting a lot of sweat and energy and money into getting a client in the door, make sure they stay in the door and they do not sneak out a side door. It's easy to happen, okay? What I would say is, think about the milestones in the relationship. They sign, there's the case, they settle, there's anniversary, there's birthdays, there's holidays. Then create a matrix and go, what are the things that I can do to keep talking with them, to keep engaging with them? Because unfortunately, unfortunately for them, they are probably going to need an attorney in the future. Their friends or family, their neighbors are going to need an attorney. Keep them in your circle. You spent an enormous amount of money getting them through the door. Don't let them leave. All right, wrapping up, a couple of minutes, couple of quick slides on Roux Advertising. We're a full-service marketing agency. We feel that bringing all the pieces together make the perfect experience, help our clients grow and reach success. We have what's called gateways, just like we talked about how y'all's clients get to the front door, we have gateways. If any of these 3 quotes are going through your head, you need to be talking to somebody like Roux Advertising. But it's I don't know what my brand stands for, or it's I got a brand, but I don't think the brand really isn't talking with my current customers, clients, or maybe even new clients and moving them to action. Or maybe it's I've got everything in place, but I just don't think the optimization is there. So if you feel like you have a need, please give us a call. Happy to help. Our promise to our clients is fantastic experts in our field, superior service and outstanding impact, not only supporting our clients, but also in the ROI. We have started a marketing advisor program for clients who are not quite ready or they need to quite get some of this house in order. It's actually a fairly big thing where people need assistance getting some of their ducks in a row. So we've been helping clients do that well before the marketing actually kind of kicks into high gear. And then lastly, these are the 10 mistakes to avoid, okay? I recommend taking a picture, going back to your town, your law firm. Tomorrow is May 1st. That means 60 days left in the quarter. Find one of these things that y'all might be doing, and I promise you, everybody's doing them to a degree or hadn't gotten there yet, and it's common. We work with a lot of agencies. I've been doing this over 30 years, okay? These are everyday common things, right? Find one you can spend the next 60 days addressing, all right? Come up with a strategy, come up with a plan, break it down into bite-sized chunks, and tackle it and make sure that y'all get this out of your system. Because the team works better, your results are there, and it's more efficient. With that, I say thank you. I appreciate the time. I know it's been a long day for you all. It's been a long day for me, and I haven't been trying to absorb all these speakers. But if you have any questions, I'll stick around. We have a booth, 26, which is really booth by the bottom of the escalators. Happy to talk. That's my contact info. Also, last thing, tomorrow night, I'm hosting one of the roundtables on TV advertising. If you're interested at any level, please come visit. My director of media buying will be there, Renee. She's been with me in 3 weeks, 20 years. She is, without a doubt, the best media buyer in the country. I am not exaggerating. You have a TV question, she will answer it. She's amazing and fantastic, so she'll be working with me on the TV roundtable. Come on. My digital media director is also around. We might let him speak a little bit, but it is TV. So again, thank you. Eric Morgan, Roux Advertising. Happy to answer any questions. If you have a few, we have a couple more minutes. Questions? I answered everybody's questions in 32 minutes. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. No problem.